Hey guys, April here from Visionscapes and Sacred Roots. Here to talk to you today about the difference between warm season crops and cool season crops. Because knowing the difference is one of the biggest keys to successful spring planting here in Michigan. So cold season crops are the vegetables that actually prefer the cooler weather. They can handle chilly nights, light frost, and cooler soil. So these are the crops you can start planting outside earlier in the season. In Michigan, that means many of them can go out early as April, as long as the soil is workable and not waterlogged. Cool season crops need soil temperatures around 55 degrees, and many of them do tolerate a light frost. Whereas warm season crops are the opposite. These are your heat-loving plants that do not like cold nights or cold soil. They really want warm conditions to establish well, and they generally need soil temperatures around 75 degrees to establish well. That's why in Michigan, many of these crops are usually started indoors and then planted out later when the danger of frost has passed. So what can we plant right now here in Michigan, mid-April? This is usually the time for cool season crops. So things like peas, spinach, lettuce, radishes, carrots, and beets can all be direct seeded into the soil. Other things like Swiss chard and onion sets can be planted as transplants, and potatoes can be planted toward the end of April or beginning of May. Cool season transplants like cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, and kale, and other brassica or cole crops can go out around this time of the season depending on the local conditions. Now those are transplants, so those have been already seeded and started earlier at either your local nursery or you started them indoors at the beginning of March. So MSU's Lower Peninsula calendar specifically lists April for crops like carrots, beets, chard, radishes, potatoes, onion sets, and spinach. So what should stay out of the garden at this time? Those warm season, heat-loving crops like your tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, squash, basil, and corn. Although corn can be planted out as early as the beginning of May. So those things are safer later in May and warmer once the soil has warmed. So most of those warm season crops are going to be the end of May, with the exception of potatoes and kale. Potatoes and corn can be in the beginning of May. So the biggest thing here to remember is not just to look at the calendar, but look at the soil. If the ground is cold, soaked, and clumpy, it's better to just wait. Soil temperatures matter more than air temperatures when it comes to good germination and healthy early growth. If you're gardening in Michigan in mid-April, think leafy greens, roots, peas, onions, and brassicas outdoors now. And keep your tomatoes, peppers, and other heat-loving plants protected for a little longer. So I hope that helps you differentiate between not only what you can plant now and what should wait, but the difference between these two main categories of plants, the cool season crops and the warm season crops. So a lot of people think of the end of May being when you can plant your garden, but you can plant your garden earlier with these cool season crops. And sometimes these cool season crops, when they're planted during the main season and the warm season, they don't do as well. So this not only helps us understand what crops do better at what times, but this also allows us to really extend our season. So we can plant early in April and have those cool season crops. Then in May, we plant our warm season crops. And then again in the fall, in September, October, we can again plant those cool season crops. So this allows us to have a longer growing season. So I hope this helped you, and happy gardening.